There's this irrational fear that we have that's like so visceral in our body of not eating it. And a lot of it's rooted in a scarcity mindset that we've all been conditioned to carry. And so when we really just kind of drill down to it, it's really a scarcity mindset. You know, it's a scarcity mindset that if we don't eat the food now, we're going to miss out on something and we're never going to have it again. Like that's like when you just peel back all the layers, it's really just the human scarcity mindset. And once you really understand that and you can move into an abundance mindset and you can move into a mindset with food where you really feel that the belief system that food is abundant, that you'll have this again, that your decision to not have it now is not a dangerous decision. You're not going to get punished for it, right? Because that's really what we are worrying about, right? Not food FOMO. If you take that to the end of the line, it means that we are going to not have something, we're going to miss out, and we're going to feel bad. But if we can reframe that to that's not a real thing, food is abundant, if we can get our nervous system there, then, we're golden essentially. Because food FOMO does not have to control you ultimately, right? Food FOMO doesn't have to control you. Okay, so we'll start with the basics again, right? That's where we want to get to. Diets, macros, all the points, all these things, they kind of train your brain in this weird way to stay in scarcity mindset, to stay in rules. And so, like I mentioned before, I experienced this a lot, right? Where I would have the voices, and I hear my clients say this all the time about the voices, right? It's like the voices. And I totally understand that because the voices say this might be your only chance to have this dish. This might be your only chance to have this. And then there's also, it's like, if I don't take seconds and thirds right away, there's going to be nothing left for me, right? Someone else is going to have it and I'm not going to have it, right? And what it creates is this sense of urgency, right? Like it's not going to exist after this moment. But it's not a real thing, right? That is a mindset that's been perpetuated from years of dieting, from years of labeling foods as off limits, right? It's also other people's behavior with food, right? Maybe your role models had this type of behavior with food also. And it's something that you think is just normal. Okay. And then when we look at it in another lens as well, when we think of food FOMO and we think about the social triggers, you get this unspoken pressure to join in. So there's that added element to it, especially if you are in a place right now where you're trying to connect with your hunger and fullness cues and you are creating a more sovereign, resilient relationship with food. Food FOMO cannot just be an internal thing that you're worried about missing out. You can also get the external pressure from people being like, oh, just have a bite, or, oh, come on, like, you're no fun, join in. It's almost like if it's someone's birthday and, if it's someone's birthday and they are having a birthday cake or like they're having an indulgent meal, you might get the pressure of feeling like if you don't partake, then you're actually not celebrating. And that could lead to FOMO too, but that's not a real thing. Okay, that's not a real thing because what happens is that FOMO ends up usually when we give in to FOMO, it tends to lead to overeating, right? It tends to lead to overeating because when we feel deprived, we tend to overindulge when the food is finally available. Okay, so if we are in that mindset of, the fear of missing out with certain foods, and then it is available, and then we like feel like it's this dangerous or forbidden thing that we've given in, usually we end up overeating because we are feeling guilty and we're subconsciously punishing ourselves because of it. And that's the all or nothing mentality, right? Like I already had a piece of cake, so I might as well have another. I might as well do this. I already failed. So I might as well just like let it all go and just, I'll start again tomorrow, or, you know, that's it. I might as well just go down the spiral. And I was there so many times with the intention to stay on track, but then I would let myself indulge, but mainly because I had this mindset and this belief system of the all or nothing, the good or bad. So I felt like I did something forbidden, and then the floodgates opened, and then I'd eat more than I needed, and then I'd feel guilty, and then I'd tell myself I messed up, and then it would trigger another cycle of just not being connected to myself and just punishing myself, restricting, and then having the same feeling of FOMO, because FOMO only exists in a world where we restrict and we have this antagonistic relationship with certain foods.